Hey, good morning, everybody, or afternoon if you're watching this on the replay. I had a question in our VIP group that I was like, you know what, this is a great video to teach everybody how to do, and that is to create a automated dialer system either for yourself or for your clients inside GoHighlevel. So I'm going to walk you through all of the steps, and then I'm going to show you how it works. The showing part may be a little bit clunky because I'm using the same user, same phone number, but I want to show you how you can dial your leads back to back to back to back to back automatically without going into your contacts section and just clicking and calling and clicking and calling and clicking and calling, or doing that from your opportunities tab. So let's dive right into it. And as always, if you're watching this right now live, let me know that you're watching it live. Just comment on the Facebook group, or if you're on YouTube, feel free to comment on YouTube as well. Let me know that you're here. And then when we're all said and done, let me know if you appreciated it, if it helps you in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And this is a demo account, so it doesn't have a lot of contacts, but you might have a massive list of contacts that you need to call, or your clients need to call. And so how do we set up an automated structure? Now, typically what I see people do is they'll just go into their contacts. They'll have a smart list that they've created. They'll click on a contact and they'll start calling that contact right from here. And then when they're done, they'll go to the next one and they'll call from here. When they're done, they'll go to the next one and then call from here, and so on and so forth. But what we want to be able to do is just go call one, call two, call three, call four, call five automatically. Set your call dispositions so that if you need to do a bulldog style call, you can, or maybe you want to add them to a dialer for the next day if they didn't answer the phone. So that's what we're going to set up right now. So I've already set up a baseline structure. I did not build anything in here because I wanted to show you guys kind of what you need to do here. So the first thing that you need to do is build your dialer structure. So let's go into the dialer here. You can set your triggers to whatever you want here. If you want it to be on a new lead coming in, maybe a Facebook form fill, maybe a tag being added, whatever you want, you can create your trigger to kick off this dialer. So let's just get into it. So there are two call actions that you can select from for external communication. There is a call, which is automatically going to call the phone number of the user that you tell it to call. And it's going to say, hey, press 1 to connect this call. That's going to be high level to client cell phone to lead. So it's going to be a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump to connect that call. The benefit of that is going to be that it's going to be on your client's cell phone if they're out and about. And it's also going to be kind of forced automatically, where it's going to call them and they can either decide whether they want to take that call or not. That is not what we're going to do today. We are going to do a manual call because this allows you a little bit more control as to what happens if when you have a different call disposition. So we're going to start off with a single manual call. We'll just call this manual call 1. And then however you want to build your dialer, you go ahead and build your dialer. Typically, I might do a wait step. If you wanted to call them twice in one day, you can do that, right? So let's just go like wait 1 hour. Actually, you know what? For the sake of this, I'm just going to do wait 1 minute just so that I can show you guys what's going to happen here. So we're going to do wait 1 minute, and then we're going to do another manual call. This will be manual call 2. And then we're going to wait 1 day. 1 day, and we'll do another manual call. And if you want to speed this process up, like if you wanted to do like a 5-day call run, which we've done in the past for our clients, calling new leads, you can just come here, copy all actions from here, and then just paste that in there. And you just got to change your names and things like that to whatever you want them to be. So that's effectively the structure of a dialer. Now, in order to make this all work properly, you need to create call dispositions as well. So before I do this, I'm going to go into allow multiple, and I'm going to create a stop on response. So what this trigger will do with calls is if that call is answered, physically answered by somebody on the phone, and the call disposition is complete, it's going to consider that stop on response. So it's a response because they answered the phone. So we're going to turn that on. We're going to turn that on as well. And we're going to now go into workflow number 2, which is really where you can start to determine, hey, what do I want to do with leads based on a specific call disposition? So what we're going to do here with the trigger is we're going to go call status, And we're going to filter this down a little bit further. We're going to do call direction is outbound. So we are making the calls ourselves. Call status is, we'll just do a completed one right here. And then we're going to go specifically in workflow dialer structure. So the previous workflow that we were just in, this is going to be our trigger. So call status complete, as we may want to do specific things based on the call being completed. Now, if you wanted to do something different, you could create a call status on, say, a voicemail disposition or something like that. So you'd do the same thing. Call direction, outgoing, call status is voicemail. So maybe you left them a voicemail. You want to do something slightly different in workflow dialer structure. So that's what you're going to do here. Now, what you can do right out of the gate is you can create an if else statement, and you can say this one was completed. And we're going to do workflow trigger is call status complete. And then you'd create your second branch, which was voicemail. I didn't label that one properly, but we'll do that later. Workflow trigger is, we'll just call it call status. So now, based on whether the disposition was answered or voicemail, we can do two different things. So I'm just giving you guys some ideas here. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. So let's say the call status is completed. You can update the opportunity to like a responded opportunity stage or something like that. Obviously, in the demo count, I don't have a pipeline set up, but that's what we would typically do. If the call was answered and we spoke to that person, they're going to get updated into a responded stage or an answered stage in the pipeline. If you left a voicemail and you selected voicemail, we maybe would go add them to a voicemail stage. So that's really the overall structure that we want to follow here. And then the other thing that we are going to want to do, now we did this the other way by removing them on response, but we may want to remove them from that workflow from here. So depending on how you want to build that, we're going to remove them from the dialer structure. But actually, you know what I would do? I would take this, I will move it to here. I only want to remove them if the call is completed, which means what I'm going to do, I'm going to publish this. I'm going to allow multiple, and I'm going to save that again. And I'm actually going to go back to the original dialer, and I'm going to turn off that remove stop on response. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. So I'm going to turn that off. And we're going to go and test it now. And I'll show you guys exactly how this works. So there's any number of ways that you can get a lead or a contact into your dialer. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go, well, let's just do it all at once. So I'm going to use my contact 2 and my contact 1. I'm just going to go add to workflow, proceed, and we're going to put them into the dialer structure. We're going to add them all at once, and dialer test, add to campaign workflow. Now, this is where you can now go into your manual actions. So if you don't know what manual actions are, this is just a setting to manually do something. And in this case, we're manually making a call. So we're going to go to manual actions, and we've got Adam McInnes 2 and Adam McInnes in the workflow dialer structure. And this is the part that might be a little bit clunky. I've got my cell phone here, but let's just click on the Let's Start button. And what this is going to do is it's just going to run through that entire list. So let's click Let's Start. The phone automatically starts dialing, and I got to allow because so it's now calling my cell phone. There's the call coming in right there. I can answer this call, and now I'm talking to myself, and I can hear an echo. It's really weird. Now, once this call is done, you hang up, and it's going to ask you, hey, how did that call go? Now, you have these 4 options. You cannot change these 4 options. These are the standard disposition options with GoHighlevel. But if you say complete, it's then going to go into that second workflow that we created and remove me from the dialer. But if I say no answer, voicemail, or busy, it's not going to remove me from the previous workflow, and I will go to the next one. So I'm just going to go, this person did not answer the call. Now, it's going to give you a little bit of a timer so that if you want to, you can come in, you can add notes, you can add tags, you can do whatever you got to do on that contact, even as far as just pause this and then make your notes. So we can just go notes, save. You can come in here and you can add a tag. You can do whatever you got to do. And then you just click next lead and off you go. Now it's going to start dialing me again from my second contact. And there's the call coming in right there. We're going to answer it. I'm going to talk to myself this time, but this time this person answered the phone. Now, I'm just going to show you one of the faults with the dialer because this is really important. I only had 2 people in the dialer, um, and the last person in the dialer structure is going to cause a little bit of a problem. And here's the problem that it's going to cause. If I say complete, it's just going to tell me, congratulations, you're done. I can't go in, I can't add a note. So that is a problem with the GoHilevel Dialer structure. That's only going to happen with the last contact. So then you're going to have to go back and add a note. So that's a bit of a bug. But you'll notice that 1 minute wait step automatically put Adam McInnes 2 back in the dialer. And so I can just hit let's start again and call Adam again. So that is how the dialer functions, how to build it, and then you guys can get as creative as you want to with, hey, what do you want to do after different call dispositions in that second workflow? And just to kind of show you what happened there. So let's actually go back to the dialer build workflow, and you'll notice that the call disposition, there was 1 in there because one of those calls was completed. And so we can go and take a look at the execution log and what did it do? Added to the workflow. It executed this because that call status trigger was completed, and then it removed from the other workflow and then finished the workflow. So that's how that whole structure works, so that you don't end up bulldogging people that don't need to be bulldogged, or consistently calling people week after week when you've already spoken with them. So there you go, guys. That's how you set up a internal dialer structure. This obviously works. Doesn't matter what size of list you have. If you have 100 people or 1,000 people, you add them to the dialer and you can just manually go through them one at a time until you get to the last person. You just have to remember that the last person is going to not give you any time to create notes. So that is a real bummer. Probably will recommend a HighLevel update that because it's a bit of a pain. But overall, you can do a lot with this. And we use this personally for our own agency when we're calling our clients leads. Some of our clients use this as well to call their own leads. So it's a great function to just kind of automatically go through it all. So again, if you found this tip helpful, please let me know. Shoot a comment in there. Let me know if this was helpful and if you want to see more stuff like this. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'd love it if you would subscribe. And on Facebook, guys, I just love doing this stuff for you. So throw in more questions so that I can create more content like this to show you guys how it's done. We'll see you on the next one.